It's Monday, November 7th, 2022. And look at what's on the ground here. That white stuff is not my favorite thing in the world. I gotta go out to the apiary and clean up a little bit. Just the continual cleanup before winter. I'll get the little tractor going because I want to grab my generator from the apiary after doing all my oxalic acid. I'm going to take some glow plugs today. It's about -3 out here. It's not real that cold, but still. Oops. Don't turn it that far. A little bit of equipment I dumped here over the fence. I'll take care of that. I got this cord laying here still. I didn't bring gloves. My hands are cold already. So we got bees here that are all tucked inside. I just saw one fly by. I can't believe that. And see, there's one there. I don't know. So these I'm going to slide back here onto the pallet. I had them pushed ahead so I could do oxalic acid through the back here. And you want to see how thermal properties work. And you look at these polystyrene hives. The snow has kind of melted at one point and then froze overnight. So these are obviously better insulated, higher R value than a wooden hive box. And then you look at the wooden hives, and it's a little bit damp, not too bad, but the snow and ice have melted off. So you can see kind of the extent of the cluster around here. This one seems to be really nice and strong. It's melted side to side. Yeah, so it's nice to see them strong enough to melt that off. It doesn't stress them too bad. It's only -3. If it didn't get any colder than this out, I wouldn't bother doing anything else with them. So we got one here. I got one here that looks like it's not quite as strong. See? A little bit of snow left on there. I don't know. See, there's you can't see a whole lot going on down in there. And they might have passed away. Who knows? Of course, you got to take a look, right? Well, that's not a good sign. Oh, there's a tiny cluster there. But they're not going to make it. And there's nothing I can do this time of year. That's too bad. That is too bad. But that's one. So, of course, I can't see all of them in this context because half of them are on the bottom and they don't get any snow anyway. So here we go. This is, I think this is one of my This is one of my strongest ones here. And see, you can see that it's not only melted off, that this is dry. And these are dry, so these are nice. And boy, I can even feel, I can't feel heat, but I can feel that it's not cold like that. This is definitely not cold. I'll bet you that's 15 degrees. I should have brought my little laser thermometer thing. So here's some nukes. Again, they're not as strong, but you know, there's somebody in there. I can see them. I'll be going inside soon. These two are Carpathians, so these three are Carpathians. And so are these. Actually, this is one of my 2022s. But see, these Carpathians, they've pretty well dried that off. So it's looking good. Yeah, I'm pleased with what I'm seeing. Going to be winter losses, there always is. But happy with what I'm seeing here. These here, they look like they're strong. They're melting, and they're actually drying that there. So here's some smaller ones. Look at them, nice and active there. So that's a nice full little hive. It's not even wet. This is not even wet on top, as contrasted with this one. That one's wet, and that one's starting to dry in the middle. So this is really interesting to see, I think, to show kind of the strength and show you, you see that box and you think, there's nothing in that box. And then it starts drying off like this. And you think, well, maybe there is. Well, there is. You open that box, you'll find out what's in there. So, well, I got things picked up. It didn't take long, of course. I went and got some gloves. It was just too cold for no gloves. So people ask, well, when you're moving your bees in? Anytime now. This week's forecast looks like reasonable temperatures for them to sit here for a few more days. So what I mean is, the forecast isn't saying that there's going to be nights that are -10 or colder until I think Thursday night is going to be -11 or something. Even at that, I don't really worry about like one night. It's not going to kill them. Well, that one's not going to make it. We all know that. Which I feel really bad about. I guess if I'd known that, I could have done something about it a long time ago. But somehow that got by me. I'm not sure. Maybe they lost their queen a while ago and they've dwindled. Who knows? I can do a post-mortem later on that sucker. Maybe I'll put an X on it or something. Remind me to look at it. Yeah, so equipment is put away in the back here. I got the generator taken back to the house. Got the cords wound up. So, it's always a bit sad. Always a bit sad. But this is this little bit of snow here. This is kind of a shot across the bow that gives you a kick in the butt and says, hey, all your stuff is going to disappear here pretty quick. You better get it picked up, because if you don't get it picked up, you won't get it picked up until April. So that's what's going on. Let me show you my little things that I discovered a while ago. It's kind of goofy, people say, well, you just use a piece of wire, or a piece of tape, or a piece of rope, or tie the cord or something like that. I discovered these things a little while ago, and they're really handy, and they're not bleedingly expensive. They cost a few bucks, but they're really nice. So let me show you these. I don't even remember what these are called. There's no stamp on them. There's no name. I get them at my hardware store. I think it's maybe something like a handy strap or something like that. So it's adjustable. They're good for cords and garden hoses, is what I use them for. So you can put multiple cords. Problem with putting multiple cords is it gets really heavy, and you can you know, put that thing up here. Up here, you can even lock it in up here. If you've got a big garden hose in there, you lock it up there, and then you just hang that in your shed or your shop or wherever you hang it. Yeah, just kind of handy. I guess that's why they call it handy strap. And so I've got a bunch of those I use. And the UV doesn't do them any good, but keep them out of the UV and they last a long time. Can't even see the handles in the snow. That one. So we shouldn't be needing the fence too much longer. But I did notice that something challenged my fence in the last few days. Kind of broke it a little bit. Pulled this, unwound this, and pulled the wire right off it. And broke one of the little step-in posts on the other side. So definitely there's animals around. And we got to make sure we keep the fence on. Yeah, so this is my playground, and playground is going to be closed here in another few days. Yeah, it's kind of sad. So about moving bees, my new honey house doors, my new bee barn doors, that building's name changes about this time of year from honey house to bee barn. And one of the things that the new doors there changes is my angst here. Now the weather is not always cooperative with my plans. As a farmer, you work around the weather. But this week almost looks like best case scenario, because as of tomorrow evening, the temperatures are going to go below zero, but not far below zero, and stay there night and day. So it's going to be -1, -2, and it doesn't promise to be very sunny. Problem is, it might be snowing, it might be raining, which would be really bad. So why that works for me is freezes the ground, and because driving back and forth that many times a little tractor, it makes a mess, and it can get muddy pretty fast, and it makes a mess. So it would be nice if the ground was firmed up and frozen, and then that's not going to happen. So where the doors come in is I can use the daytime temperatures or whatever low temperatures we get to my advantage, and move in more than one day. Usually I'm wanting to pull the trigger and boom, get them all in one day, mostly because those old doors were so hard to open and close. And once I got them closed, I'd have to seal them up, and I didn't want to open them again. They were such a huge pain. The new doors, I push a button and they open and close. Push the button again. So I can do that. I can move a few in if things are not working out, if it's getting soft or the sun comes out and things are getting messy. Shut it down, pick it up again in the morning. So that's really going to help out with my stress level this year, moving bees in, because it's a long day. This many bees, that's a long day. Especially because your feet get cold and the rest of you gets cold. And I'm a bit wimpy anyway, but that's just the way it is. So anyway, it looks like we're going to have a good week for that. I know Ian's been moving in, and I think he's had really good weather for it. He battles mud a lot because he has to get his truck right in there, right? And we haven't had tons of precipitation in the last couple of months, so things aren't real muddy. At least I haven't heard him talking about mud. So that's really, really good. I'm glad for him with that. He's really not been feeling good. And so he's getting better, but he's still not fully back in the saddle. He's been working throughout it though. What a tough guy. I'm not a tough guy. I get stuck like that. Everything else goes on the back burner. But you can't just leave your bees out. I had a buddy left his bees out a few years ago, and they pretty much all died. That cost him a lot of dough. That was too bad. But anyway, my hand is cold, and I'm going to take the tractor and go in. It's November 9, 2022. And yesterday, Well, last evening I had bee club meeting, so it was really nice to see everybody. Had a good time, and I always stay up too late, and get home late, and so don't get up real early. But I got a pretty decent start, considering. And the reason why I really pushed myself out of the house today was because bee moving day. So this was the long-awaited day to move the bees in, and I've been moving a few in already. I'm kind of packing them in there this year. I hope it's not a big mistake, but because I'm not insuring this year, I don't need to go around and inspect all the hives in the middle of winter with the adjuster. So I decided that I would try to conserve a little more space in the bee barn. With my new doors, I can, open them and close them during the winter, and get them, use that space, use the little bit of space at the door. Because boy, indoor storage is sure a premium in the winter. It's a premium all the time, but in the winter it's way worse. I don't like my tractor sitting outside in the winter. I don't like it sitting outside in the summer, but it sits outside in the summer a lot more than winter. And plus just everything else. I don't have access to this building because the bees are in here, and so I have more stuff to store indoors, and I have less available indoor storage. So I've got three pallets of bees here, 2 or 3 high. The back one is 3 high, and then 2 high here, 2 high here. So these belong to a different beekeeper. These polys, of course, are mine. There's 6 there, and there's 3 more here, the oddball pallet. And then I've got my other polys here. So there's 6 on this pallet, and 6 on that pallet, and then I've got the wooden nukes on top of those. So all of the other beekeepers' bees are in here, and all of my nukes are in here. And that's great, because I've still got a little space right here to put 8 more pallets of bees. They're 4 high. So that's 16 colonies. That's really great. So maybe I'm going to end up with a lot more space in here than I had really even anticipated. So I'm trying to be thrifty with the space, but I also don't want to get them too jammed in here that they're going to get too hot. By chance, I might run the temperature in here a little bit lower, just so that I don't get a lot of hot spots. Going a little bit lower than 4 isn't a big deal. I've got some stuff in here that I don't want to I got a bee there that I don't want to freeze. Wiping my face, and I saw in the camera that there's a bee on my finger. Lordy. Anyway, so there's a little bit of water stuff in here, a little bit of wet stuff I don't want to freeze, so I don't want to go too low. Anyway, so I'm going to put her right on this little doorstep right here. I'm not sure she's viable, but I'll do what I can. So yeah, I might just put another row of hives right here beside these pallets, and then kind of a walkway in the center is always nice. I like to be able to get at my cabinet. I like to be able to get at my big freezer in the back, so I need a little bit of an aisle in here. Yeah, so it's going well. I'm frozen. My toes are cold. My hands are cold. And I'm gonna go in and get a bowl of soup, and then I'll keep going with the big colonies, get them in here. And yeah, this is going well. I can hear the hum. I don't know if you would even hear it, but let me take my mic and see what we can. Just kind of sounds like a waterfall in the distance. It's that little bit of a rumble, roar kind of a thing. Oh, I guess I should be speaking into this. Okay, so I'm going to go in and warm up a little bit, and then we'll keep going. It's Thursday, November 10th, 2022. You can see I'm all dressed in my cold weather clothes, right from top to bottom. Boy, you get these Carhartt cold weather clothing packages, and that just does the job. It's got a great hood on this too. I don't care for a hood for that job because I can't get the visibility side to side. So anyway, this toque will do. Northern terrain. This guy's my gravel supplier guy. He's out of Stonewall, Manitoba. He's a really great guy. So I need gravel. He brings that along. So yeah, I got about half of them, maybe a little more than half of them of mine. But then I've got, a bunch of the other beekeepers in here too. So I'm well more than half done this job. And I'm going to use not even half of this building, I think. So I'm going to put a couple more here. There's going to be one here and a couple more here. And then there's just 4 more stacks to go along here in this space. So I'm very happy about that. And then I can utilize this other bay completely for the winter. And that is going to mean a world of good things for my life this winter. And so you can see I'm wearing these clear glasses. The cold wind gets in my eyes. It's very uncomfortable, and it'll probably start to snow later too. I don't know if I'll get into that or not, but then it's really difficult. So it's cold. I think it's -10, -11, somewhere in there. Okay, that's putting the bees away for 2022. 2022 season is in the books, as they say, or in the barn. It's red in here. The camera doesn't really show it, but I've got the red lights on. And I hope stacking my bees in like this was not a monumental mistake. I've got space between them. So who knows? The fan is on medium. Temperature set to 3, and it's running at 4 degrees right now. I've got the sensor right over, you can kind of see it right there, kind of over in the middle of the concentration of hives here. So I'm hoping that it will then keep the building in a decent temperature. I'm going to come in here and set up fans. I've got some box fans that run all winter just to circulate air. And if it seems like I'm tired, that's only because I am. I'm very tired. Been working in the cold all day, and that really tires me out. I'll do this so you can see me better. So I've got my honey in here too, and I've got a bit of extra space on this side. So I'm very happy about that, because I can maybe move some more things out of the woodshop building into here. Now, what can I say? I'm exhausted. I think I need to go in and have a rest. I've got my warming cabinet in here too. I just took the honey out of it and put more honey in it. Got to keep packing honey. Seems like I can pack 600 pounds of honey a week, and it seems like sometimes I don't even catch up. But I know that's not the case. It just seems that way. So I had one little oddball here. The one with the double and the single. It ended up just sitting here on the floor. What I did was I put all the entrances facing away from the doors. So if I open the doors, then these hives don't see the light right away. There's some nukes over on the other side there that do. So that's not the greatest. I noticed some flight out of there. So I'm going to shut it down. I appreciate you watching this. Oh, I didn't show you a lot of the actual moving process. I'm here by myself doing this yesterday and today. Sometimes I have a helper, and what the helper will do is help me get them situated, where I want them in the building, and take out the entrance reducers. And this time I didn't have a helper, and so every time I brought in 2 skids, like I'd bring these 2 together, and so I'd bring in 2 and then I'd set 2 more on top. But so every time I'd bring in 2, I'd get off the tractor, come around, take the reducers out, because putting them in here the way I have them, I can't reach the reducers anymore. And so every trip, it's a lot of trips, but every trip was jump off, do that, jump back on. And so every second trip, after I stacked the second, the second load on top, I was actually just kind of putting them a little more toward the door there, and then, as you can see it, and then I would just position the hives with the pallet jack. That worked really well. One thing about pallet jack, though, you need to sweep your floor. You have any little stones on the floor and it doesn't roll worth a darn. The wheels are hard on the pallet jack, and it doesn't roll if there's stones. So I swept the floor this morning, and that made things a whole lot better. Yesterday I was struggling because I didn't sweep the floor. So that's that. And if you want to see kind of the loading and unloading and stacking and unstacking process, I'll put a link up here, one side or the other, to a previous video doing this. It's just picking them up, putting them down. It's not very interesting. So anyway, that's it. I'm off to the city tomorrow. So I got to do some deliveries. And I got to drop off at the packer and pick up packed honey as well tomorrow. So if I don't talk to you again tomorrow, I'll just put this together and upload, and wish you a wonderful weekend. Remember the November 11th significance. If you kind of feel bad that I'm just going to be working most of the day, but I tried and tried and tried, and I couldn't arrange what I needed to do any other day with any, logic. So have a great weekend. Take care and have fun.